8.
Live at 8 on Facebook. How you doing, Brennan Gugu?
Good. I'm tired, but I'm good. How are you?
I am very well. Thank you for asking. That's very polite of you. You're such a polite young man.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Pride myself in my manners.
Well, you should, because you are very well mannered. Like you really are. Like as long as I've known you, you're very well
Yeah,
mannered.
my parents always drilled it into my head that was a huge thing. So, yeah, I always made sure that I was, ever since I was a little kid, I was like terrified to be anything but a well-mannered, like respectful young kid.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Now, is that your grandparents?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah. Everybody around me, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's not a. You know what? It's funny because you think about it. Like we don't want kids growing up afraid, but at the same time, there isn't anything wrong with kids being a little fearful of the consequences of being jerks, like to be rude and disrespectful. I think that we all need to know that someone will take us to task if we're not polite and well mannered.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's a huge conversation there just around sheltering kids in general. Yeah, like I think for just for myself, one of the best things that my dad did was for hockey, because I was never the best hockey player and I was always small and scared of the puck. So especially when we got to the older ages, I was really scared to play body. But I signed up to try out for like AAA, AA, and A every year. And pretty much every first year I would not make any team and just end up playing recreation. And then the second year usually I'd make A. But pretty much up until like high school age I had to do that. And it sucked. I hated it so much. Like it made me like hate the whole it made me hate everything about hockey other than just playing and like playing games. But it taught me how to accept losing, and it taught me how to like be a failure, and like not even how to deal with it, but just to do it. It like forced me in positions where I felt so small and belittled and terrified and scared, and I was all alone, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's really good because I mean, I was safe, right? I got to go home and be with my, family or whatever. So I think that's something that I see in kids today that I guess in like kids in my family, mostly my siblings, but I'm like, man, just push them. Who cares? Spare their feelings. Like, who cares?
And maybe it's not spare their feelings, but it's give them a chance to have feelings.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
So because like you said, like, and I wouldn't call you a failure for not getting on a certain team, but losing and not doing the best and not being the best is such an important life lesson. Like not getting what we have this myth out there, right? You can do anything you want in the world. Well, that's a bold-faced lie. And we actually have a talk, I haven't given it in several years, but called Your Parents Are Liars. And I adapt it. Sometimes it's your teachers are liars. But the reality is this notion that like it's not to say we shouldn't have goals and objectives, but we should also remember to have fun in the things we're doing. Like you said, like that feeling of but just liking the fun part of playing, right? That's what matters. Like at the end of the day, like you were fit, you were getting out and active and having a good experience. Like that's what matters. Whether or not you're ever going to be in the NHL, but there are lots of families that put and systems like schools and teachers and guidance counselors that say you can do anything you want in the world. Well, at the time, Justin Bieber was pretty big and popular when we did this talk. And I had a slide deck that started with one picture of Justin Bieber, and it was when he was fading out of fashion. And the first picture,
so he still had like the Bieber cut and like
around then, maybe a little after that, but not.
He didn't have the tats yet, the neck tats, and
no face tattoos by then. But the message was that if everyone could do whatever they want, there'd be 100 Justin Biebers, right? Like is that, but he got there because he worked really hard. He was really naturally gifted, right? Like naturally gifted. He worked hard. Like he played a whole year of malls, like mall centers of the mall. Like no one ever looked at that, right? Like it was there was a lot of yeah. So nonetheless, kids and young people can do you. I think it's important to recognize that you like the idea is that yes, you can do lots of things in this world, but there's no guarantee that what you want to be able to do, you can do. So that's an important message, I think. You know what else is an important message?
What?
Our buddy Teus, who I think you met, Corey's son Teus, it's his birthday today. And I think that they're watching right now. And so a big shout out to Teus. Teus is producing beats. He is very active and interested. I don't know what his SoundCloud name is, but I know that he's done some collaborations and he's building his skills. And so Teus, if you're listening, what I was saying earlier, you can't do that idea, you can't do anything in the world, but if you found something that you dig and that you're liking and that you're good at or you're building your skill at, keep it up, because you might not be a DJ down the road or producing beats for A, B, or C, but you never know. You very well might be. And that's the thing is that, but if you enjoy it, then keep doing it. If you're gifted at it, keep doing it. But happy birthday, Teus. We're giving you shout outs.
Two more happy birthday shout outs. Today's my younger brother Brady's birthday. He's now 13.
Look at that. Happy birthday, Brady. And Brady, people who've been watching the show all year know that Brady's been on here with us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He was one of our first performers.
He was.
Yeah. And yesterday was my mom's birthday, 47th birthday. So
I'm sure she's thrilled that she just shared that with everyone.
Yeah. Doesn't look a day over 47.
Well, it makes me feel bad. Wait a second. Evan. Well, I think your mom and I are the same age, but that makes her now older than me, so I feel much better about my life today. We've got a great show tonight. Show we've got. We have. I saw this video on TikTok, shocking as that might be, and it was this young guy talking about. It was funny that you could be so sassy with a straight face.
It's almost like you never use that app, eh? Like we never talked about it.
Never. So I was using that TikTok app once in a blue moon, scrolled, saw this video of this young guy from Kingston, from the Kingston area. And he produced, he and another person, that's a friend of his, this young woman, they wrote and directed a movie last year called How to Fix Radios. And it's premiering next week at the Kingston Canadian Film Festival. And which is super exciting. This is a team of like 18-year-olds who I think, if I'm not mistaken, spent less than $2,000 to produce a feature film.
That's insane. That's like Blair Witch Project budget.
Yeah, like that. So they're going to join us. He's going to join us, and I think someone else from the cast as well is going to join us as well. I'm super stoked to chat with them. I just think it's an amazing story. And you know who they're good friends with? Jack Toner.
Oh, no way.
Yes.
Is he in the movie?
He's not in the movie, but I think they went to the same class.
Gotta step your game up, Jack. Come on, man.
Totally. Very disappointed that he's not in that movie. And then we're going to have some new friends that I've made while I've been down here in Barbados. They're going to join us to talk. They're from two places here, this Living Barbados magazine.
Oh, that's a nice magazine.
It is a delightful magazine. And
is that like given out by the government? Like, is that they're like?
No. It's a magazine that's like produced and published here, I think, in the country. Oh. And they're just beautiful. It's gorgeous. It goes into hotel rooms. So anyone who's ever traveled into a hotel room, you'll find these like wherever you are in the world, right? So it's just terrific. The writing is fantastic. The photography is like stellar. This is the food issue. So they're going to join us, but so are our new friends from the Barbados Community Foundation. And if I'm not mistaken, do you not work for a community foundation?
I do. I work for Olneyag Indigenous Communities Foundation.
Yes. And so we're super stoked they're going to join us. We're going to launch something tonight here. We did a soft launch earlier in the day, but we're going to really sort of launch a initiative that we're going to try our best to support over the next week or two, and stand alongside Bajans and Barbadians who are struggling during COVID. And we're going to talk more about that. I want to share a quick poster though. There is a, let us see here. Okay. Our friends up in Thunder Bay at the Regional Multicultural Youth. What am I doing here? I've lost it.
Nice.
What do you see there? Do you see the poster?
I see Mind and Music concert series.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So this is presented by YouthX Canada in partnership with the Regional Multicultural Youth Council. And it's music and dialogue around mental health and wellness. You can see the artists there on the poster. And next Friday night, they are having it's all online. And so next Friday night, we're going to post this in the comments, or actually we're going to post this on our page in the next couple of days. So this is a terrific opportunity for next Friday night to tune in and listen and learn and just have a great conversation. And next Friday, they're having a special Q&A session as well as part of the show. There's a bunch of different partners you can see at the bottom there, and our friends at the Regional Multicultural Youth Council, and as you might know, they're doing a lot of work with Pathways to Education, who are our dear friends. So that is next Friday night. I would strongly suggest, folks, if you're looking for something to do on a Friday night, that's a great option. I want to quickly just check in. How are you doing, pal?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm good. I am good. I wasn't feeling great today, like physically, and I think I didn't eat very well today. I find sometimes cooking for one is a lot, and if I don't cook and make stuff immediately and have it in the fridge available to me, I find I might go without and I might eat nuts for dinner. And I don't think that makes it feel good. Hey, Dakota says hello, and Corey says hello, and Kimmy D says hello. Hello, everyone. It's nice to see you all here tonight. But you're good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm super tired. Yeah. Been a busy last few days. I haven't really slept well. So I'm super tired, super irritated, overstimulated. But, other than that.
Other than those things.
Yeah, other than that, I mean, what else? What can you do, right?
But you were a good. And Jean's watching, and Marta's watching. But you were a good big brother today, weren't you?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I tried to be. I don't know. I hope so.
I think so. What did you do this morning for your brother's birthday?
Nothing really. We had a little birthday party for him earlier. Just at the house with the family, and my parents were away overnight for my mom's birthday, so I was with Maddie and Brady overnight at my parents' place, and
with Abed.
Yeah, with Abed. Yeah.
Now, how did Abed and Macy, the other pooch, get along?
No, they get along really well. They play just nonstop, and he's a really tough little puppy, and she didn't have other dogs. So she's really rough with him, doesn't really know how to play with a puppy, so it's like a good balance. Yeah, because she like beats the shit out of him and he just takes it. And, but yeah, no, they're good. He was kind of stressed the first night. I got in bed. I was like, nice. Finally got lay down, and like 3 seconds, I looked at my phone and I just smelled the most nasty shit ever. And I looked beside myself, and there's like 4 piles of dog poop, and Abed's just like squatting there. I was like, man, what are you doing? Yeah, but other than that, he was fine.
Other than that,
yeah, he dropped those four deuces, and he was fine. Oh yeah, leave it all in the pile. Leave all the stress in the pile.
There you go. If life was only that easy, eh?
Yeah, so I didn't sleep too well, but yeah, it was good. And then Brady had a hockey game this morning. I'm not gonna say how that went.
Now, am I correct? There's new restrictions in Nova Scotia that started this morning, right, at 8 a.m.
Yeah, as of this morning, yeah.
One of
It's
them is
just for HRM, for Halifax Regional. I didn't see the provincial ones, but I saw HRM released ones. And restaurants stop serving at 9. They close at 10. I think certain stores can't be open. Any travel to and from the Halifax Regional Municipality is restricted to essential travel only, if you can. Yeah, so just the same stuff that was like a month ago. But I think we got a surge of just a couple new cases.
Yeah, I saw that.
So they're going back into a little bit of restrictions. Yeah, but I think the bar life is still like bumping. I think like
Really?
the fresh 19-year-olds are still getting out there right up until 9, 9 at night, just giving her, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. It's crazy. I can't imagine being like just hitting that like party age where you can like go out and like just, even if you're sober, like a sober person, just go out with everybody and, you know what I mean, like experience that a whole different lifestyle. But like you can't, if you turn that age now, you just
Can't.
really.
No,
Yeah,
not at all.
crazy.
I see Jaylene's joined us with, hey guys, Jaylene and Dakota. In fact, I saw their shop up at Fort Henry in Kingston, opens up May 15th.
Nice.
Super exciting, and I hope that goes as planned. Annie is here. Elder Annie, bonjour, madame. Patricia Lynn says, hi, guys. Hello to you. It's awesome. We're going to have a great night tonight. We're going to, I don't see our first guests as of yet, but I imagine I told them to come in shortly, so they're going to come soon. And in fact, there we go. I see they are now here. I said they arrived. So we're going to welcome our first guest because we have a full night here, and so it's always interesting with Zoom because you never know the names, right? You never know the names, much like you were your mom for the longest time on Zoom.
Oh yeah. Yeah, till I got my own laptop.
Okay. Oh, and here we go. Oh, we've got a whole crew of them. This is awesome.
Sweet.
Assuming that Hector and Emily and James, I think they are all our. See, Derek is watching. Hello, Casper.
Hi.
Look
How
at
are
that.
you doing?
Nice to meet you in semi-real life.
Awesome sauce. This is fantastic to see all of you. This is wonderful. So very, very quickly. So this is my friend Brennan.
Hey, nice to meet you guys all.
Hello.
Nice to meet you.
And do you maybe
Heard a
want
little bit about you guys.
do you want to go around and introduce yourselves?
Yeah, sure. I think that'd be a good idea. I'll start. I'm Casper Leonard. I'm the director and writer of How to Fix Radios, and I do some freelance film and videography stuff as well on the side as just some other creative arts projects. But yeah, I was, one of the team leaders, I guess you could say, of the project, beside my co-writer and co-director, Emily Russell.
Hello. I'm Emily Russell. I was the cinematographer, co-director, co-writer for How to Fix Radios. Yeah, hands on the camera.
Hands on the camera.
Hi, I'm James Rudden, and I play Evan in the film.
Awesome.
My name's Hector Jenkins, and I play Jake in the film. Sorry, it took me a second. It's been a while.
Forgot your own character's name.
I did. Yeah, I play Jake in the film, and I also wrote a lot of the music for the film, alongside a guy named Simon.
Well, what you guys might not know, and I first found out about you via TikTok. I saw that very first TikTok, and and loved it. I was like, oh my God, look. And it was like, because I think there's something about Frontenac County, and I'm like, oh, how awesome is that? That's phenomenal. And then as I watched more, and then I saw, in my emails, I get emails from the Canadian, Kingston Canadian Film Festival. And then I saw that your film was there. I was like, holy Moses, how amazing is that? So really quickly, how old are all of you? How old are you, Casper?
I'm 18. I'll be 19 this year, but when filming, I was 17.
17. And James?
I'm 18 and I was 18 when we were filming.
And how about you, Hector?
I'm 18, but I was also 17 when we did all the filming.
And Emily?
I was also 17 when filming. I just turned 18 a couple weeks ago.
Well, bravo to all of you. This is awesome. It is to see a group of young people have an idea, turn that idea into a script, the two of you, take that script, turn it into a production, bring in others to support it, and to be able to shoot it. And if I'm not mistaken, in a budget under $2,000.
That's correct.
Wow. Like, that is so awesome. And now you're premiering at a film festival.
Crazy.
It's a little unbelievable.
Yeah.
All while having to deal with COVID. That's insane.
Yeah, a bit of a roadblock.
It sounds hard enough without COVID. Like, I'm listening to that and I'm like, okay, that sounds like impossible. Cool.
It was almost impossible.
Honestly, oh, sorry. I was
No.
gonna say that, you know, when I remember when Casper like first wrote the script, he was all excited about it. And when COVID sort of first happened, I'm pretty sure he wasn't even sure if it was going to end up getting made because, you know, everything was so unsure.
Yeah, we kind of like, we finished the first draft of the script basically around this time last year. And when the pandemic hit, we thought that there would be, like, obviously when the pandemic happened, nobody knew how long it was going to go on. A lot of people thought it might be a couple of weeks and then we'd be back, but we didn't really know at the time. And we kind of thought, well, we'll just make sure to, you know, grab everything from the school that we needed. We had some stuff there, and make sure that we're set up and prepared to still go forward with it. But once we got further into the situation and everyone realized that, oh, actually this is going to be a lot longer than we thought, we kind of let it go just for a few months, especially because Emily was working and we both had school. So it was sort of like we just sort of put it aside for a month or two. But then when the cases started coming down a little bit, especially in Kingston, and the protocols for filming started being implemented so that we actually knew what we could do, we kind of picked it up again and thought, well, maybe we can actually pull this off still.
Well, absolutely brilliant. It is so exciting. I don't know. So folks who watch at home, and Brennan, who earlier was sassy to me about it, know that I really enjoy TikTok. I find during COVID at the front end of it, it was really a very good mental health break for me. And which is funny because social media normally has the opposite effect. Like, I can go down a Twitter hole of looking at hate and ignorance and drive myself mad, look at comments on Facebook and like go mad. But TikTok, there are so many dogs to be had who are doing funny things and dance moves. And so for me, TikTok was a fundamental part of my self-care. And so we generally put a collection together. We've never done a collection like this for the show, but this, I hope you're not feeling awkward, but we're going to play a little video of some of your TikTok videos that'll help tell the story so people can get an idea. And then from there, we'll just continue our conversation. Is that all right with you all?
Oh yeah, that's awesome. We're proud of it.
Awesome. That's terrific. What are we looking for here? Right here. So we're going to go over there and learn a little bit more about how to fix radios. And I'm assuming everyone can see it now. And away we go.
Casper, I'm 18, and this summer a group of my friends and I made a movie with a budget of less than $2,000. How to Fix Radios is a 90-minute epic following the journey of Evan, an isolated, narrow-minded teen who starts a minimum wage job at a rundown bait shop. Upon arriving for his first shift, Evan discovers that his supervisor is the pink-haired, outspoken Ross. Through their tedious job, the two slowly grow closer, and Evan happens upon Ross's rich but strenuous inner world involving himself, his sister, and the shadowy figure of his boss's ultra-macho son, changing Evan's worldview forever. We really wanted to show a small rural piece of Ontario and our accompanying perspectives and experiences growing up here as somewhat misplaced queer kids. Taking inspiration from films like Tangerine, Gummo, My Own Private Idaho, and the early works of Terrence Malick, this film is a love letter to our inspiring predecessors in the unique ways in which they allowed us to see our own lives and environments. How to Fix Radios premieres on March 5th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at KCFF's online theater, and with a Q&A at 8:30.
My name is Dimitri. I use he, him pronouns, and I play Ross in How to Fix Radio. Ross is someone who has a lot going on, but is chronically bored regardless. He's a bit of a punk, a bit of an asshole, and almost totally closed off from everyone around him. I, myself, am 19, very queer, and I am growing out my mullet. Thank you for asking. I've been acting and stuff since I was really young, and How to Fix Radios is definitely my favorite project yet. I love everyone involved with my whole heart. In my free time, I listen to music that makes you die, and the preview video on Netflix for NBC's Hannibal. Special Agent Will Graham. Special Agent Will Graham. You can find me at my Instagram, or if you're interested in working with me, my email is dee.c.j.watson@gmail.com. Thank you for all the support. It's absolutely fun.
Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Do you guys know Emily?
Yeah.
Hello. My name's Hector Jenkins, and I'm an 18-year-old indie musician from Kingston, Ontario. I play Jake Walker in How to Fix Radios. My music is of the indie folk variety, and I accredit that to my love for artists like Phoebe Bridgers and Big Thief. I've made bangers like Do You Love Me and Trust in Me. Pretty good, right? If you want to stream my music to get a sneak peek of the How to Fix Radio score, which I wrote, or you just want to give me a little boost of dopamine, head to the link in our bio for more. Because
James Redden, I use he, him pronouns, and I play Evan in the film How to Fix Radio. Evan is a redneck, but also a hot boy. Am I a hot boy? No. The closest I've ever become to being one would be watching the Mighty Ducks films. As Evan grows closer to Ross, subterranean thoughts and feelings about his sexuality are uncovered and revealed who he really is. I myself am really tall, and yes, I am the best basketball player since Michael Jordan. Thank you for asking. I listen to music that a country boy like Evan would definitely listen to, like soundtracks of musicals, French rap, and classic pop. I also have an interest in contemporary issues, including LGBTQ rights, and that is why I'm super proud and grateful to have been a part of this film. I can't wait for all of you amazing people to see our final product. We are all super proud of it, just like Emilio Estevez was at the end of the Mighty Ducks film, where his team's winning. If you'd like to check out my Instagram, I'm at James.Rud. If you'd like to contact me for work, you can email me at jamesarud@gmail.com.
Hi, my name's Casper. I'm 19. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm the co-director, co-writer, and a lot of other stuff on How to Fix Radios. I wrote half the script and I co-directed, and I'm a photographer. I'm going to plug my Instagram. It's right here. I do a lot of other things other than film and photography. My other interests are to be incredibly annoying to everyone around me and immerse them in my interests, like being a huge Kate Bush stan and forcing everyone on the casting crew to listen to Running Up That Hill about 63 times. I'm sorry, I'm a Kate Bush stan, what can I say? I'm gonna copy Dimitri, and these are my favorite musicians and stuff. Yeah, I'm a Hannibal fan, not gonna lie. Here's my favorite movies. Right here, I'm gonna put pictures up of them, it'll be cool. If you wanna find me on Instagram, my Instagram is @scaryplants. If you need me for any business stuff, my email is right here, caspermleonard@gmail.com. So I think that's all I have to say. Link in bio for How to Fix Radios
And other stuff.
Other stuff.
And other stuff. So I just have to say, Emily, I think you need to make a TikTok.
Okay, I I deleted all of my social media in January. I have not seen a single one except for the trailer of those TikToks. And that was my first viewing of all of those, which is terrible. Oh man, Casper, I need to make one of those. I just love them.
Go for it. Go for it. Oh my God. Wade, my dad was also in the film a little bit. He plays a really minor role and he really wants to make his own TikTok. So
My dad should make one too. My dad was also in the
yes.
film. He
There
would
you
love
go.
that.
Dad's a TikTok.
Scott and Wade should
Exactly.
collaborate.
It's a
Duet.
So Emily, I gotta ask because I'm noting that you are potential. I didn't see many. There was another actress in the film, correct?
Yep.
And so
Willa.
with the two of you and all these lads for the summer, so that has got to be a unique experience, I would think. It's what is your takeaway from that?
I mean, I don't know, there wasn't really a disparity between any of that. We all knew each other beforehand. I didn't really know Dee quite as well, but Casper and I, obviously, we'd spent a lot of time together beforehand, so we were, everyone's familiar. I think Willa, actually, she's the other actress. She plays Eileen, who is Ross's sister. She was probably the most unfamiliar with everybody, so it was, for her, I think it was coming into it, it was a bit more of a foreign crowd, but we all get along really well. There was rarely any conflict, and yeah, I think in one of those TikToks there was something like DOP doesn't take any nonsense. I think that was pretty much my role on set, to put everybody in line.
Well, that's my assumption. That certainly would have been my assumption. So we are an Indigenous-owned company, and so in our culture, First Nation culture, women really are the boss. Like it's something that's been somewhat lost over time, but it's certainly a resurgence, and women are taking their rightful place again. So I'm glad to hear that you were the and I saw that in that TikTok about not taking anything, like getting everyone in line.
Yeah, that was pretty much my big role.
So did you all go to LCVI? So LCVI, Brandon, is a high school in Kingston.
Mm-hmm.
And so
did Avril Lavigne go there too?
Pardon me?
Did Avril Lavigne go there?
Not when we were there.
Wrong city.
Unfortunately, I would have loved to go to school with her.
Wrong city. She was a Napanee.
Ah, okay.
Close though.
And so did you all graduate last summer?
A few of us graduated at some different times, but it was kind of like a staggering thing where we basically all graduated around the same time. Some of us graduated this winter-ish, this year, sort of.
Yeah.
Some of us graduated last year.
I'm still in school.
Oh,
yeah.
are you?
Online.
Oh, awesome. At LCVI?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, terrific.
What was that?
The online school?
Yeah.
It's okay. It's not ideal, but we make do with what we have. I mostly just sit at my desk, and it's great to construct my own schedule, though. I've been making more film related stuff in my free time, which has been like a huge benefit. But yeah.
Now, as a career path, raise your hand if you think filmmaking or involvement in film in some way, whether acting or writing or directing, raise your hand if you see that in your future.
I think for a
Has
lot of
it
us,
always been that way?
yeah, I think that well, at least for most of us, I think that it started in high school with Studio LC, which the teacher for that, his name is Kevin Bowers, and he is an absolute gem. He goes way over the top with marketing, which is awesome because it reaches so many people in different communities and everything. And I think without that, it might have been a very different future for all of us. But because of our involvement in that program, he really showed us that it's just possible. And I think that it's honestly a huge factor as to why we even made the film in the first place.
Awesome.
Now, was the TikTok account part of that marketing strategy?
No, but I do think he should get a TikTok. I think that Studio LC would benefit from that.
Casper, don't forget to mention Eric Rutherford, the other studio teacher.
Yeah. Oh my God, yes, of course. Eric Rutherford is the other teacher at Studio, or he wasn't when we were there, and he did a lot of the drama acting aspect and production as well. So without him, I think that a lot of our actors benefited from his presence as well. That kind of coaching mentorship type of role that he filled.
And when you think about that, the learning and experience you got in that program, and tell us a little bit, what's the name of the program you were in at LCVI?
Studio LC. So it's a program within LCVI that it was formed a long time ago. Well, I say a long time ago in my young lifespan. That's a long time, is like the early 2000s. But there were a couple different teachers, I think, who taught it throughout the years. But Kevin Bowers and Eric Rutherford kind of took hold of it within the past less than a decade, but around that time. And it's a film-focused high school program. So it's like there's a few programs that are like that. They focus on different things. And basically, it was just a whole semester's worth of being able to just be completely immersed in making short films, directing, writing, basically doing whatever our hearts desired, and being able to get marks and credits for that based on work that related to English or technology, that sort of thing.
Awesome.
That's so cool.
Now, our good friends here at Three Things, Jack Toner, he was in that program as well. And I understand you might know Jack.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I made the connection. I worked with Jack for a while at Y2K. I think I met you at an event a while back.
Okay, that's very possible. Yes. And I apologize for not recognizing you.
Oh no, don't. I'm sure you go to tons of events like that, so no worries.
So Jack actually years ago helped us, when he was young, helped us produce like the footer for that we use in almost every one of our films and videos, and we still use it. And it's like a 14-year-old version of Jack in it, and he's mortified because anytime it's on like a big screen, I like take a picture and I send it to him, and he's just like regretting being helpful that day. So tell us what's happening on March 5th.
So March 5th is the premiere of How to Fix Radios. It's at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it's on KCFF's brand new online theater that they've held through a company. Basically, all you have to do is book a ticket online. It's really simple. You go to KCFF's website. If you want to see our film, you click. You'll click a button that says Films, and it'll drop down and show you all of them. Just click How to Fix Radios. It brings you to the site when you click order tickets, and you pre-order one. And then on March 5th, all you do is log in. It'll bring the film right up, and you'll see it. And there's a Q&A after at 8:40 as well.
Awesome. So Emily, tell us a little bit about How to Fix Radios.
Well, I'll tell you my side of the story, which was the cinematography and how we shot it. I used a very small little camera. I have it right here. It ran me about $400 several years ago now. I think I got it when I was 15. And the camera itself is about 12 years old. So we were working with a very cheapy setup, but it shoots in a high profile like log. So our picture looks pretty good. We had a couple hiccups with the tech, I would say. Casper and I, at the beginning, we thought, well, we want to have a lot of tracking shots. You know, all these films that we're very inspired by have these really beautiful, like, dolly shots, or like they have the stabilizer. And we wanted to have a lot of that. And there's a lot of outside stuff, so it would come in handy. So went on Amazon, got a stabilizer. We used it maybe twice.
I have it somewhere around here.
Yeah, no, and I think I have like parts of it out in the garage. It's just, it wasn't worth it. I think we'll be selling that.
Yes.
I guess what we learned is that to work with what we already have was actually more to our benefit. So Leo, who was the sound production designer guy, he did the sound for us. Recordist, there you go. He had this shoulder rig, and it was probably like $50 maybe a couple years ago. Anyways, we used that for the rest of the film, and it worked beautifully. I guess
when you were behind the camera, can you think of what was inspiring you, like that you'd seen before, or you were trying to how are you? What was your inspiration and how you were telling the story?
I think it had a lot to do with natural light. That's the first thing I think of in terms of framing it, and I always like to have a bit of a glow on the subject's face. I was always trying to think in what would Terrence Malick do, because we did have a lot of those outside scenes, and I think the vastness of the space made it very difficult to frame certain things because it seemed like the figure was just so, like, we all seemed so small, and we were working in a big quarry. It was like an old bait shop, and so it was just like a couple of kilometers of like gravel piles, and then you have like James and Dee out with a four-wheeler, and it just, I guess I was thinking, I don't even know what I was thinking. There was a lot of improv.
Yeah, it was very natural. It was sort of like a natural flow for everything involved. I think the cinematography as well, where it's just like we're kind of naturally adapting to our environments. And
we
then
didn't have any storyboards, which was a big thing. So it wasn't that I was basing anything off of it.
Yeah. I drew up like half of the script for storyboards, and then I gave up. I'm like, we're not using these.
Well, that's a new way to make a film without storyboards. That's but I have no doubt that it turned out beautifully. James, so have you acted before this what have you acted previous to this?
So in the focus program previously mentioned, we got to sort of make films, like short films, and I sort of worked as an actor on like a couple. I worked on like a 20-minute short where I was pretending to be like a spy. So that had really nothing to do with this role of Evan, and coming into it. It was very daunting because I mean it was like an 80+ page script where Evan had a lot of lines, and I'm pretty bad with memorization. So it took a lot of practice. But honestly, the support from the entire cast and crew, like these guys are amazing, and they help me, and I'd mess up here and there, and they'd be like, hey, it's okay.
Awesome. Well,
so their ability really kind of set the tone for you and just allowed you to be like free and act kind of and just get to know the space.
Yeah. I think it also helped that, I mean, like I sort of knew these guys going into it. I'd known them for a few months now, and knowing that they're just like really kind and good people,
You know what? I'm going to be honest with you. It doesn't matter what the response to the film is. That's probably the best compliment you can get as humans. And that's awesome. That's awesome. And just so you know, James, I have done so many projects where people have had to hold the lines on poster board, like walking shots when I'm walking and reading them, and someone's walking backwards, throwing them down as we go, because I too cannot memorize anything at all. I've given over 1,000, well, at this point in my career, 1,500 different talks, dozens and dozens of documentaries. No one has ever heard the same talk from me twice exactly the same. So just know there are workarounds. And Hector, the score, the music that you produce, I listened to some of it. It's fantastic. Like, it is absolutely brilliant. And so how did you read the script and then write, or what happened?
So going into the project, I talked with Casper a little bit like a long time ago about, writing some music for the script. And I think he was kind of hesitant because going into the project, we all sort of wanted to use sort of more, like, not mainstream music, but more popular music that we thought would fit the tone of certain scenes better. And when we realized that that wasn't really a possibility for a lot of different reasons, it just sort of happened that I had been working on an album all summer as well. And so I had 3 or 4 songs that we felt really fit sort of the styling that we wanted to go for. And I was kind of really enthusiastic about the idea of using like local music, but also my music, because I thought it would be like a really fun thing to do. And then, but it was also a combination of that, and then also using stuff that I wrote for the script. The main theme of the film I wrote uh, in September of this year. I was sort of just sitting in my room fiddling with my guitar, and I was like, well, I need to write something for Casper, because the deadline's coming up and I've got nothing. And this little riff sort of popped into my head. So I bounced it over to Casper and he really liked it. And so then it was just sort of building around different riffs that we'd sort of come up with, and building something that had like a sort of cohesive sound, but also like fit the tone of every scene that we were going to use the music in.
Well, brilliant. And tell me very quickly, how do you feel now that you see your music in this, like you see your creation, the birth, right, of your music, of your spirit that comes out in that, you see it in this film, how does that make you feel?
Yeah, it's honestly, it's really wonderful. Like, and it's kind of breathtaking to like, since the video came out on TikTok, my music that I have up on Spotify and on all those platforms has had like a pretty significant boost, which is really cool. But also like listening to it in the film and seeing my music sort of used to help an audience feel the emotion of a scene is something that I've never really expected or felt before. So it was a really new, wonderful experience that I'm really thankful for sure.
Does it make you look at your music differently, like seeing it applied to those scenes in that story?
Well, I mean, as an artist, like all my songs have different meanings to me, but I don't really expect them to have the same meaning to everyone. Like, I think that that's one of the beautiful things about songwriting, is that like a song can mean one thing to you and something completely. Been really interesting listening to my music is like in a completely different context than I originally meant it to be. I wouldn't say it's changed my view on my music necessarily, but it's definitely broadened sort of the spectrum of how I think about different songs. Like the song "Do You Love Me?" It plays at one point. A lot of it is more like not a sad song, but definitely not a happy song. And the way that it's used in the film makes it a happy song, which is really cool because it's awesome that it's a happy song.
That's super cool.
It is. You guys are awesome. Storytelling is so important, and this story particularly, and the content around it, around that relationship between people, relationships that your characters have with themselves. These are important stories. As I mentioned to you a couple weeks ago, the Real Out Queer Film Festival took place right in Kingston, and we're really proud to be the presenting sponsor of that festival. And we believe in storytelling. It's such a critical part of how we share emotions with each other, is by sharing stories. And
we really wouldn't have done this if it hadn't been a story that we were just so passionate about and thought that people needed to hear, especially going through the experiences that we did. We knew that there were people who felt either misrepresented or didn't have any representation at all. And so having a queer film that's set in a rural setting that isn't necessarily all about death and destruction, I think is really important to us.
Well, and I'll tell you, it speaks to the difference in generations. So when I was your age, the very first thing I ever produced was a play called Positive. And my very dear friend Derek Antonio, he wrote it. He was 17. I might have been 19, I guess, maybe, and produced this play, put it on, sold out shows, and about HIV and AIDS. And this is in the 90s when it was a very different realm for us, right? That it was a very different world. And so it's so exciting to see that this generation of creators are able, and not that we weren't able to create stories around positive in the 90s, but we just hadn't seen it yet in ourselves or our friends. And And so I think each one of you, it matters that you put your spirit into this project, that you put your hearts into it. The next time, so when you finish this and you do your premiere, make sure you look at places like the Ontario Arts Council and the Canada Arts Council. They would love groups like you to be able to support. I'm certain of that without a doubt. And that it's very exciting. On the 5th of March, your film is going to premiere. That feeling, I would love to hear afterwards, even just from an email, what that felt like for you watching that next week. I just think it's awesome. It's amazing. You guys are helping create space for others to know that they belong, and that matters. Like, it matters a lot in this world. Brandon, any last thoughts with our friends?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you guys for joining us, and and I just want to echo what Casper just said about representation, and to me as a First Nations person, I think representation was I don't want to say end all and be all, but it was a huge part of my development as a youth. And so to have representation was one thing, but to see representation for a demographic that is authentic, I think that's just so cool. That's like Peter said, like that generational change, that generational impact. Even if the film doesn't get viewed much, like just the fact that you guys did it and this conversation is happening and just everything around it is just like that is just what's so important and impactful. And I just want to thank you guys all for doing that and sharing that. Thank you.
Thank you so
much to us. Yeah, thank you so much.
Also, my internet was super buggy. I don't know how much you guys heard. My internet cut out, but yeah.
They were good.
So,
thank you anyway.
At the end of the day, numbers don't matter. What matters is that you did it, and I have no doubt there's going to be great numbers. But regardless, it's that's what matters.
And that's been our exact sentiment. Yeah, thank you.
We're going to bring on our next guest, but I'd like you to stick around because I think they've been watching, and I'm just looking at the comments here. People are just talking about how amazing and awesome you are, and talented. And Kiyomi says she can't wait to hear the rift, Hector. And I assume you know Kiyomi, and I'm guessing. But I'm going to invite our guests to join us our next set, and because one of the things that's really important is that you get to see sort of what and just hear from our friends here who have been watching before we get too far, before we say goodbye to you. I want to give our other friends here a chance to, if they've been listening in. And I see Sarah's here. Hello, Sarah.
Hey, how are you?
I am fantastic. Thank you. How are you doing?
I'm pretty good. I was listening in. I was trying to get a taste of what I needed to be ready for. So I have made a note of how I can watch the film in March.
Awesome. Awesome. Do you have anything you want to share with our young friends before we say goodbye to them?
I didn't listen to the whole thing, but what I did hear just sounded really exciting for you guys to be doing this kind of work at your ages and be really starting to cover some ground that I myself wasn't covering at your age, that's for sure. So just the bit I heard sounded awesome. I was really wowed at what you were able to create, and with that tiny camera, and you know, it really has piqued my interest to come on and have a look at what your final product is. So congratulations. It's pretty impressive.
Thank you.
Yes. And Kiyomi says, I hope to see the film as well. And Kimmy D says, representation is extremely important for self-awareness, identity, connectivity, image, positionality, and current context and story today. So there you go. And our friend Andrea, how are you doing, Andrea?
Good, thank you. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Thank you for asking. I've never seen you with curly hair. I don't.
I know.
It's a whole new look.
It's like I showered and everything for this exciting event.
You know what's funny? I was going to say at the beginning of this, I was so grateful we had the show tonight because there was a good chance I wasn't going to shower all day. And and it's so important for our health, right? Our mental health to shower every day. And so I was grateful for the show.
Yeah, good.
I saw you were listening into these young folks.
Yeah, I mean, this is incredible. I completely echo your sort of, I guess, tip to go and seek out some funding and some grants and all of that kind of stuff. I think there are a lot of people who talk about doing stuff like this and a very small percentage of people who actually make a go of it and put the effort in and see it from beginning to end. And with the level of detail that you guys are talking about, it's extraordinary. So just be confident that if you go out and ask for money, I mean, the worst they can say is no,
thank you.
You're going to find, you get a lot of support. Not just in funding, but people making connections for you and really helping to sort of like get the production up and running. So keep going and use this one as a stepping stone to keep telling those awesome stories.
That's awesome. Thank you so much.
So, welcome, Lynn. And
thank you.
Our friend Kiyomi has to leave. She's in Portugal, actually. So there you go. And she said, it's very late. I'm glad you joined us, Kiyomi. She does see Andrea's hair look beautiful, by the way.
Thank you.
So,
we showered.
And so, Lynn, I don't know if you heard any of the previous show before you joined us, but these four young folks here from Kingston, Ontario, they they're next Friday, they're releasing their first feature film at the Kingston Canadian Film Festival.
Lovely. Well done.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And so to the four of you, just to provide some context before you leave, our friends Sarah and Lynn, they work for the, they're involved with the Barbados Community Foundation. And here in Barbados, some of you might not know, but I relocated from Kingston to Barbados and during COVID to take care of my health and well-being. And so we're really excited to release this project today with our friend Andrea, who's also in Canada, and our new friend Dave, who's coming on here. Dave and Andrea are the publishers of this stunning magazine, Living Barbados, which we shared earlier. And so we're going to be launching a campaign tonight. But to my four friends from Kingston area, thank you so much for coming. I'm going to be thinking of you next Friday night, and it's Friday, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's going to be awesome. And congratulations to all of you. And I hope you, when you go to bed tonight, you just are reminded that you're doing something that matters in this world, and not a bad way to live a life.
That's true. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Care.
Awesome
Thank
job,
you.
guys.
Let's see it.
So we have a very busy show, eh, Brennan?
Yeah, always.
Who said
Best way to be.
So, my friends, I want you to meet. This is my friend Brennan. Brennan is in Nova Scotia, in Millbrook First Nation, and I don't believe, Dave, we've actually met in person, really. Yeah. I've seen you, but I've not actually. We haven't met, so it's nice to meet you.
Good, same here.
It's we started this show just about a year ago, and we started it to talk about mental health and wellness, just really as a way for Brennan and I to stay connected. At the beginning of the pandemic, Brennan was in Kingston working with us, where he'd been a couple of times, like staying with us and living with us and working on different projects. But when the shutdown came, he headed home back to his community, and we just found that we were checking in with each other because it was sort of overwhelming, as you may recall, the front end of this. And we figured these conversations might be helpful for other people. And that's what brought me down south. Is over the course of the year, I realized that my mental health wasn't the greatest. My productivity was poor to not as poor, but still poor. I wasn't taking care of myself physically very well. And so lo and behold, here I am and feeling so much better and so much healthier. But one of the things that really sustained me from having any real crises through the year was every week checking our visiting and having really wonderful guests join us. And now I'm excited that the four of you are here.
Yeah, well, we're excited to be here. I didn't know about this weekly show, but I've followed, and it's interesting. It's really cool how sometimes just meeting your own needs helps you, and it's exactly how your idea that we're going to talk about with this campaign came to you. Realizing, what you needed for yourself helps you realize what other people need, and that there's a role to play and a way to take a situation that isn't great and make it use it to not just help yourself, but to help other people who may be in the same feeling the same way.
Exactly. And really quickly, here's a fun world. So little quinky dink, which I hadn't thought of until the beginning of this show. So Sarah and Lynn are involved with the Community Foundation of Barbados, and we'll come back to that to learn more about you. But Brennan, tell us where you work.
Oh, I work for their Onaweg Indigenous Communities Foundation.
Oh, wow.
Based in Nova Scotia, yeah.
So that's what so Brennan works for another community foundation and one of two First Nations Indigenous community foundations in Canada, of all of them across the country. So it's very exciting.
The world is so small, but yet so large, but so small and connected sometimes when you actually start to find out how you're linked to people.
Exactly.
Oh, it's crazy. It's like everybody's linked somehow.
Yeah.
It's not.
We're all 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. So Dave, we haven't had a chance to meet before, so can you I think are you still there? Oh, there you go, you moved. Sometimes with Zoom, it's always funny when you see the person freezes and you're like, oh, wait a second, they haven't blinked in about 2 minutes. So it's nice to meet you. And you are from Barbados originally?
Yeah, I was born in Barbados. Yeah, but lived in Toronto now for just over 24 years.
Goodness, so since just a little child.
Only about 4.
And
thank you.
You're welcome. And so yourself and Andrea. So Andrea, for those watching, so Brennan, and just so you know, Andrea is one of my neighbors down in the complex here, and just this way. Andrea and Dave are down that way. But your mother's here as well, right, Dave?
My mom's.
And so that's wonderful that you can be here without a doubt. Yeah. And that she must be very happy to have you home.
I hope so.
So Andrea and Dave, you are the publishers of this magazine. This is a brilliant magazine, and I have thoroughly enjoyed it. And we were sharing a little bit of it earlier tonight. And this was what I wanted to talk about really quickly with our Bajans friends. So this is souse, right? Am I saying it right? Souse?
Yep.
And is it not souse, pudding and souse? Isn't that the whole so pudding and souse? So this is it here. Now
what is souse?
Well, will one of you describe souse for me?
This is Dave's favorite dish, so I believe he might be the professional souse explainer.
Okay, so describe to us souse.
Well, it's pickled pork, I guess, is the simplest way of explaining it. Its origin comes from back in slavery days, where on the plantations, all the small pieces of the pig that were not more high quality were given to the slaves to make a meal out of. So pieces like the feet, the ears, the tongue was then pickled with cucumbers, different spices like peppers and onions. So that's how it traditionally came, and is a meal that you eat here in Barbados just on Saturdays. The fun thing is it's kind of a morning dish. So any shop that you could find that sells souse after 5 o'clock in the evening, that means it's not good souse, because souse never lasts long. Just call early and try to get your order in, but it's quite a delicacy here in Barbados.
And
Peter, we'll take you up the road to try one at Grandine's.
Well, I've
in
fact had souse and pudding already. I brought to my house. My friend Nicholas here. Nicholas, his mom made it, I believe, for us.
Oh,
And
amazing.
so on one of my first weekend out of quarantine, he came and brought souse and pudding. And pudding is a misnomer, by the way. Let's be clear. There was no chocolate pudding involved in this. I believe, is it
It's misleading.
It is very misleading word. Is it sweet potato? Is that what the pudding is? Is that the, yeah. What made it brown?
Different things. Some people put molasses and stuff into it, or food coloring to make it brown. Or you could just have it a little lighter if you don't put any color in it. But it's a mixture of like sweet potatoes, onions, thymes, low sugar, sometimes a little cinnamon, nutmeg, and a little spices.
I tasted that. I did taste that. I wouldn't feel it needs food coloring to turn it brown. I think that the brown wasn't a selling feature for me. Like it was, like I think it was tasty, and it was tastier when I closed my eyes. And in fairness, the whole dish was tasty, but when I saw the snout in it, again, tastier with my eyes closed. But it's funny because you think of our communities, Brennan, is that our traditional foods aren't that fundamentally different. Like it's like there is a lot of foods that certainly as Indigenous people in Canada we eat that I think a lot of Canadians would be horrified and mortified by, or just shocked. And particularly our grandparents or great grandparents would have had like things that they really like, the specialty items, right? Which now even many young people might not be too into. Eh, Brennan?
Is blood pudding one of those things?
Well, so the pudding in Barbados, I think the original, Dave, you can probably correct me here, but the original pudding was blood pudding.
Well, I'm now suddenly more pleased with the brown food color.
Yeah.
And another hot
Am I
tip, you
right,
can
Dave?
order. Sorry, Sarah, go ahead.
Sorry, I'm just asking. I'm not I'm unfortunately a Barbadian who's, you know, I don't say it publicly because I would be frowned upon, but I am not a lover of pudding and sauce.
Oh
So,
man.
my apologies. But
Can you remove her from the Zoom? How does this work?
I know, but the problem was it was the blood pudding concept that completely turned me off of it, and I've never been able to really embrace it since.
Yeah. Traditionally, how they would make the pudding as well, they actually use the intestines of the pig. So you make that whole mixture of the potato, but then you actually take the intestines, clean them, and you stuff it in, just like haggis, you know. So you stuff it into that and you cook it. So it's quite labor intensive and it's definitely not to be faint of heart. So the pudding that we mainly get in Barbados, you know, is more the modern type where they kind of bake it in nice pans and you kind of scoop it out. There's no intestines involved much more.
Round, perfectly round ball.
But
Peter, the tip is that you can order sauce lean. So you don't get the bits, you just get the lean meat. So when next time you have it, specify.
Well, I didn't mind it too much at all because again, I've traveled lots to our community, different communities across the country, and eaten lots of things that take some emotional and mental preparation. But I got to tell you, as you were describing that, Dave, I thought you should never be the Minister of Tourism. So
Never say never.
And talking about tourism, so in Barbados, we heard last week that that tourism is down 93% in this country because of COVID now, and we are just coming to a place, and by we I really mean you, because for me it hasn't affected me greatly. There's been a lockdown here in Barbados, and that lockdown was most of February, and it meant that we were allowed to leave the house for 3 hours in the mornings to go to exercise and go to the beach, grocery stores during the week. But all of the vendors and food, and because there really seems to be a couple of economies that exist in Barbados. There is the government, and so the government, the military, the hospitals, that employment hasn't stopped, right? Like that employment has continued. Many
Yes.
people are working from home still, but that employment hasn't been faltered. The schools seems to be, I imagine the educators are still working, albeit from home. But then the shops, they've had some certainly repercussions from the absence of tourism, correct? The shop owner, like the actual little stores.
Very significant, and not just the retailers or the small service providers, but of course, like a huge percentage of our population is employed in tourism related business. So it's not, you know, just the businesses that may be allowed, say, to open gradually in the coming weeks that are impacted. It's that generally since March last year, when this kind of started, we have an entire industry employing people that's changed significantly. And we did have, you know, there were some jobs and there was some activity in the latter part of the year when we really felt like we were a safe zone and we were enjoying some of that luxury. And so people were working again in their hotel jobs and hotels had opened back. But so many of these people now are, you know, if you work in the reservations department of a hotel, you may be able to work from home, but so many, like a vast majority of our population, isn't working in those types of jobs. And so their hotels are closed. If they are, you know, working in hospitality, there are very few who are still working. As you mentioned, all of the smaller shops, all of the smaller vendors, the people that work on the beaches, in the, you know, the various restaurants on the island, they've all been closed. And they are people who were very significantly impacted during the last lockdown. And one of the real issues is that many of them didn't then have enough time back in their jobs to build any hope of a reserve to now ride them through this second wave. So that's why this is even, we felt really like it was really important to help people. The first time, that was sort of an 8-week shutdown. But this time there's just been no recovery. Like people have absolutely no reserves to work from this time. And so we're really seeing a very significantly different reality on the street. I mean, I've noticed a significant change in the number of people who are, as they call it, living rough, but basically appear to be generally homeless. Yeah. And so it's a really scary time, and the possibility of this campaign has come at a really important time, I think, for our country. If we can initially start with just getting food vouchers into people's hands, it can really make a difference. Because sometimes the best way to help somebody isn't necessarily to give them what you think they might want to cook, but to give them the ability to go and purchase, you know, for their own family's needs. So the suggestion of doing this through a voucher format is a really good one.
Well, and so why don't you tell us a little bit, if you don't mind, Andrea, about what we're going to try to do.
Oh, sure. Yeah. So I think it kind of all started with Peter and I being Canadian neighbors that end up being Bajan neighbors, and just talking about how lucky we are to be here for this time. And you know, both of us have certainly benefited health-wise, being in warmer temperatures, being able to get out more every day, even if it's only the 3 hours. So we thought that together, Peter and his company and Living Barbados could help to kind of broadcast, get the word out. We really wanted to kind of empower and employ Canadians, whether they're at home or in Barbados, like us, enjoying the island here, to be able to give back to everybody in Barbados. So luckily we connected with Sarah and Lynn and their foundation to ensure that whatever money we could kind of collect through all of the people we hope are willing to help and support would go to exactly the people in need, and very quickly. So we wanted to make sure we partnered with great people who already had different grassroots groups working in the communities and working with specific families and individuals who who have been struggling and have very specific needs that we can help so that we can impact their lives right away.
Well, why don't we play a quick little video and just share with folks a bit about what we're trying to do. Does that sound all right?
Sure, go for it.
Yeah.
There we go. There we go. As a starting place. As a starting place. So Dave, why do you think this is going to matter why does it matter that either tourists or long stayers, welcome stampers, folks like ourselves who are working here, why is it important that we stand alongside those here in Barbados?
Well, I must really thank you for this whole initiative, and obviously Sarah and Lynn's to be part of this. For us at Living Barbados especially, we're in a unique position. As I said, I was born in Barbados, I left here a long time. I'm a Canadian citizen, but Andrew and I own different businesses around the Caribbean, and we spend a lot of time in Barbados because we have Living Barbados magazine. We also publish Caribbean Bride, a destination wedding magazine. So we're all really passionate about the Caribbean and tourism particularly. That's what our core business and our marketing company is. And so it's been really rough over the last year, just watching like a lot of vendors, we know small vendors in the destination wedding and romance travel industry, not just around the Caribbean, but in Barbados, really suffering. And then seeing a lot of partners that we've had in tourism, advertisers we've had at Living Barbados that we've lost, that have gone out of business, families that we know are struggling. So we are really passionate about trying to help, and being both Canadian, being both Bajan, anything at all I can do and anything can help with our platforms to support this, I think is something what we need to do. And for Canadians especially, I know so many Canadian friends that call Barbados a second home, and Canadians love Barbados. And it's a great opportunity for them to really reach out to a place, not just come for the winter vacations, but as you said, that come here for the welcome stamp that really give them a chance to enjoy Barbados and improve their quality of life, their mental well-being. So it's just excellent that Canadians are jumping on board, trying to be part of this, and anything at all that we can do to help to bridge the gap between Barbados and Canada. We're passionate about making it happen, because at the end of the day, Barbados is a small island. We're really dependent on tourism. It's a rough time for us right now, and anything that we can do all together as just a community of just good, like-minded people, that's so important, that we need to hold hands together and pull ourselves through this situation together. So it's all about community at every level.
Awesome. Awesome. This is the page that folks can go to, and even in Canada, even if you're not here in Barbados, just the reality that in Canada we have a net that's supported so many Canadians through this challenging time, through CERB and other sort of models of support. And it's not always been ideal, and it's not always been perfect, but it's been there. And so people can come to this website. We're going to try to take that number, which is at 250 right now, and we want to try to see if we can get it to $7,200 by Monday night. And so if people gave $25 4 times an hour, then we could hit this target. And so we encourage you, and this campaign is going to run till March 8th. Our goal is 7,200. We'll see if we can get it by Monday, but if not, it'll continue into the week. But we really want people to be able to come here. Really, you can learn a little bit more about what we're doing. And why don't you tell us, Lynn, about what, or Sarah, about what we're gonna, what the funds will do. How are the funds going to be used?
I'll leave that to Sarah. She's the one who spends the money for me.
Okay, so yes, in our team, I'm the one who links the funds and the available funds to the actual recipient or the program. So when I first met with Peter and Andrea on our first chat, what I was explaining was that we find with the Community Foundation that we are the most effective at reaching a wide range of people when we work through a number of organizations, because each group, whether it's a group feeding, like directly feeding people, or an association of another people or another charitable organization, each person has their own catchment, their own network of people who are in need and who are in struggle, having struggles, who are reaching out to them. So in something like this, where we know that we want to cover, it doesn't matter. We're not focusing on just someone with a specific medical need, or somebody with a specific disability, or a specific challenge that they're up against. We're really trying to reach anybody who is being out of work and who is having trouble putting food on the table. And we're going to do this through a number of the organizations and the groups of people working across the communities, so that we know that we're reaching not just a particular area of the island, or people that are connected with a specific group. We want to really feel that the reach is wide, and that we're able to identify as many of those critically in need families as possible. So as I said, we're definitely the main focus with if we can get that goal of $7,200 is in food stuff. And if we're able to surpass that, then it would be really exciting to see what more we could do. So I know schooling here in Barbados has gone to online schooling, and there's been a huge community corporate Barbados drive to help make sure that families that didn't actually have electronic devices that their kids could do online school with had access, and more we're still getting some of those requests through the foundation. We've helped some, and we've linked some with other donors who were able to help. But I'm hearing too many stories that are saying, well, great, the devices we did get a device from our school, but we have no internet. So we still have kids, even though school is being offered online in Barbados, we still have children who are not actually learning because they don't have access to that. So I'd love to see this campaign do more and grow more. And so that's what I'm really hoping, that we could morph into something that is larger and means more. So I'm really excited to be part of this group. Lynn and I are actually thrilled I think we have a great team here with Living Barbados and with Peter and Three Things. And we think we can get the word out, and we think that we can reach a network of people, as we've been saying, who love this island or who are linked to it in some way. And even a small donation is able to help. So I've got 2 kids right now in universities in Canada, and I know that as Peter said, there has been a network. It's certainly not been perfect, and there's certainly additional needs, but Barbados has not had that network. We don't have that type of reserve. So the government is trying, but they need the community support as well to make it happen.
Without a doubt. And And we're certainly thrilled to be able to offer what we can to try to promote this and encourage our friends here who are watching tonight to, we're going to put the link in the comments after the show. And please, please think about $10, $25, $5,000. We're not picky. And just stand alongside these the Bajans who really are needing it. And yeah, it's the very, because I just think to myself, you know, I think in a couple of ways. So for travelers who are here in Barbados, I can't be the only one who is actually in this lockdown saved a lot of money. Like, and not that I wouldn't want to be out, because if I wasn't here, I would have been doing tours, right? I would have done a boat tour by now if I had come here. I'd be eating in restaurants. I would be renting chairs from Simone at the beach. I would be doing all these things. And it's not that I'm a bazillionaire by any means, but at the end of the day, is that I can pay it forward a little bit, what I've been able to save, but also the benefit of being here is there is no better thank you than standing alongside those who are just needing a lift up and needing someone to stand. It's not about a benevolence, right? It's not about, oh, there's a charity and they need their charity. They don't need that. They need people to stand alongside them and say, we see you and we feel for what you're experiencing and we want to stand alongside you and help you in this time. And
so refreshing from our point of view that you've seen that in the island and that you've recognized it, because honestly, it's not always something that people recognize on their own. So what you're doing is also going to bring awareness and show them a pathway, because there are lots of people that when a need is explained to them, they're willing to help, but they don't necessarily have a pathway to do that. But I've actually been really quite touched with the way that you came to realize that why you wanted specifically to help this program, and just to recognize that everybody who's here is part of it. And you know, it doesn't have to be a huge amount of money. It doesn't have to be, but it's true. You know, it's everybody, well, not everybody. Some people are the one, you know, they don't have $10 to spare. And that's fine too, but they can share it. They can share this campaign. There's more than one way, and it doesn't have to be through the form of a monetary donation, that if somebody is not able to help right now, but they can help us by sharing the link and just getting the word out. Exactly.
And that's just as important, if I'm not mistaken, right, Andrea? That part?
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely. I think it's so wonderful that you, Peter, have sort of started the ball rolling here. I think we live in a neighborhood here where we meet a lot of people. We meet fishermen, we meet people at the rum shop, we meet everybody when we go to the beach at 8 a.m. We know we see the same people every day. And I think depending on where you stay, when you come to visit Barbados, if you're in a hotel, you don't always get to sort of witness the vibrant communities that are here. So even when people are struggling here, I mean, everybody has a smile when you pass them, you know, walking to the beach and all of these things. And they're still willing to help. They're still willing to greet you and you know, make your stay really awesome and support you if you don't know which supermarket is open or you don't necessarily know all the rules and the protocols. So I think it's really cool that you've been able to experience it firsthand in St. James here, and then also share that with a lot of other welcome stampers and maybe, you know, shorter term tourists that are staying in hotels or different parts of the island where, you know, you're not really like moving about in a community as much. So I think it's really incredible. And I think you were the first person to share, and now the rest of us can all do our little part and kind of keep it going. We'll cast a really wide net.
Well, Brennan, I think it sounds, as I imagine you can relate, that one of the realities is that for Indigenous people in Canada, I think that we keep talking in this pandemic about we're all in this together. And I've believed that's been a bold-faced lie that we've been telling ourselves for a year. Not only like in communities, it's a lie, in countries, it's a lie, and in the world, it's a lie. And we've certainly seen that and heard those stories, Brendan, in our year, about how First Nation, Métis, and Inuit people have not been like it is not all together, and so wherever we are in the world, there's always going to be those who aren't part of the we're all in this together, and I think we just have to acknowledge it, right? Both locally, nationally, here and around the world. Like, and if we just acknowledge it, it allows us to maybe do something more about it, like to be able to bring more people in. So yeah, I don't know. Do you have any questions or thoughts, Brennan?
No, I'm just taking it all in. I feel like. Sorry.
Are you getting your credit card out?
Yeah. Well, I
Maybe
already
he's
filled it out.
wondering why he's the only one sitting in a cold country right now.
He's the only one in a sweatshirt, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I'm definitely not warm right now. I'll tell you that.
No.
I'm mildly sweating.
Yeah.
Must be nice.
We can send you all of our heat over the
We should really cut this part of the conversation.
But yeah, it is. It's really cool because we're in my everyday work, we're having a lot of the same conversations, and it's just really interesting that these conversations seem to be a global trend, even though, like you said, Peter, we're not all in this together, but and we need to acknowledge that, and it's funny you said that because I was just thinking that, and I'm like, big part of this is that we need to just acknowledge these things so that we can measure them and actually work on them and move forward from them, and yeah, like, whether people react negatively or positively, the fact is that we need to acknowledge them and get over that hump regardless, right? We need to experience that eventually. And so I think it's really cool what you guys are doing, and I'm doing some stuff in my work that is really similar, and I can't really say much, so I'm like, I want to get super excited and then like ask you guys a bunch of questions and like try and bounce off ideas, but like I can't do that.
We can do that in another forum.
Yeah, 100%. We can set up another Zoom call later for sure. But yeah, it's very it's just very nice to see, because the foundation I'm a part of is brand new this year, so we're just in the midst of building it, and we're building that foundation right now. No pun intended. We're building the foundation of that foundation. But so it gives me a lot of it's just, I don't know, I don't want to say hope, but it's nice to see that this work is like, I don't know, just being done by other people in other places that from other backgrounds, you know what I mean? Like because a lot of the times it's really easy to drown yourself in the world's problems and be like, okay, well, I need to fix the world. If I don't do it, nobody's gonna. And so it's really easy to get stuck in that mindset where you're in this kind of work. So it's such a nice refresher to just be on the other end and let my gears go, but like just know that it's gonna happen anyway.
You know what? It does take time to build a foundation, but as you just start doing little bits of the work, and all of a sudden we actually had our 20th anniversary last January, so we're just 21 years old now. I've been with the foundation for 16 years, and Lynn was actually there from the very beginning, and it's crazy because when we suddenly like worked it out, we were like, wow, it's been a long time, and we've done a lot of things, and we actually had a small a small sort of thank you event for some of our donors over the years, and Lynn and I put together just a slideshow, and as these guys would tell you, we are not tech savvy. We are not. But it was really hard for us, but it was also a hugely it was a really humbling experience to work on that together, and actually then see it that whole evening, like just flashing across the screen, because it reminded us that over the years, like things that felt small when we first started them, or we felt that we were at times only a drop in the bucket. You know, the problem was greater than we had the means to fix, but I think a drop in the bucket has been one of my most common sayings in the last few years. And sometimes the frustration that we wanted to be more than just a drop or two in the bucket of the problem. But to sit and at that anniversary and have that ability to look back and realize that we've put drops in a lot of buckets over the years. So even if the project or the start of a foundation is small, the reality is that, you know, you start and you work away at it, and then all of a sudden you have cause to look back and you realize that you've accomplished. And I think that's, you know, it's just keeping your eye on the ball and keeping focused on the fundamental role that you're trying to play.
Well, the role I want Brendan to play today, after of course he takes his wallet out, is are you willing to send the link to your team at the Community Foundation and just let them know that this is something that they can do as individuals, is to support a sister community foundation, and that's how we'll spread this word. It's just by one person donating and then sharing with others. Hey, $10, $25. Again, as I said earlier, $5,000. We're not picky. Wherever it flies. But just if you're willing to do that, those are the little actions everyone can do. And that is absolutely fantastic. I want to say Ani to Paul Carl, who's you, my friend, and Elder Bernard is watching. And so is Delia. Delia, make sure you take out your wallet tonight. I have high expectations for you. I know that you haven't vacationed all year, Delia, so you've just been waiting, and now is the time. We're going to wrap up, but when we wrap up on the show, we go around the circle and people just sort of share some closing words. And so this is driven by, I think just at the very core, we talk lots about kindness, about we just need to be kind in this world. To ourselves and to others, and during COVID, it's been hard at times to be kind to yourself. It's because particularly for folks at foundations and other spaces and those helping roles, that it has been a lot. So I would love to know some tips, and as we haven't had you on the show before, we'll close it around with maybe a tip about what you've been doing to be kind to yourself, or what have you done? Maybe it's not even ongoing, but something you've done during COVID to be kind to yourself that's allowed you to be kind to others. And maybe if we can start with you, Lynn.
With Lynn.
some way you've been kind to yourself during COVID.
Oh my gosh, you're really making me think here. How have I been kind to myself? I don't know. I just, day by day, I take it as they come, and I just try to do what I can for me, my kids, and my mum, and being kind to them, I guess, is being kind to me. And the neighbors, we're just trying to help one another. So I just try to help, and helping them helps me. So
there you go.
I'm humble.
Nope, that's fantastic. That's great advice. Is that often it is actually helping other people that feeds our soul and our spirit. So
yeah,
awesome. Thank you, Lynn. What about you, Dave?
That was actually something I was simply going to say as well. No, just over the last year, really got a chance to really reflect and look at priorities in life. And I think the thing for me, and I kind of tie it back into a quote from Mahatma Gandhi, who said, "The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others." And that's something I've definitely been focused on for the last couple of months. That's, you don't need to have a lot to help people. Something, just send an email to saying, hey, WhatsApp message. I mean, something as simple as that can really make a person's day and really cheer a person up. So when we think of service, it's not, sacrificing, money or other things like that, but just having time for other people. Small things like that can really make a difference, and that's all part of service. So service comes in so many ways. So I've really been focused on, offering more service and giving more of my time. That's what I've really been looking at, and it's quite rewarding. Thing is giving me quite a fair amount of happiness.
Wonderful, thank you, and that's so true. Just to be of service is just everything about it is healing for ourselves, right? It's funny, we often look, it's like there's a Friends episode where Phoebe's trying to do something nice with getting nothing in return. I don't know if anyone remembers this episode, but it's a classic episode.
Yeah.
And trying to be nice, trying to do something with getting nothing, but she keeps getting it in return, because when we give of ourselves, we will always benefit. And I would strongly recommend finding that episode of Friends. It was so, and you're smiling, and you remember that one, yes?
I'm a Friends fanatic, so I know it perfectly, yeah.
But that, between that and the one where Rachel makes the trifle, is the best 2 episodes of Friends. If you haven't seen that one, you've got to find it. She makes a trifle. Do you remember that one?
Yeah.
Oh my God, like wet yourself funny. What about
I'm
you?
gonna have to go look for them.
Those two episodes. Sarah, what about you? What have you been doing to be kind to yourself?
Well, especially in the last 2 months, I worked like a crazy person up until the end of last year. I think what happened is when we closed down with COVID, it then meant that you really, when things got going again, you had to take advantage of every potential opportunity, and it really was a significant push, and I was exhausted. So I have to confess that I have used some of this slightly slower pace in life for the last 6 weeks, at least in Barbados, to focus a little bit. I've been trying to do the mornings exercise, fresh air, and like a bit more movement than I was doing for the last year. And it really has, I'm feeling much more human. And I find that the days that I can get out and actually just do some physical activity, that I'm clearer minded and much more able to do this work that we do. So, and it's really, I have to say that, again, I know I said this before, but just the couple of meetings that we've had in pulling this together, there've been days that I really realized that I felt really happy and satisfied that we were doing what was coming together was something that was going to be able to work and make a difference. I mean, we personally, there's a number of people in our community, in our neighborhood, that we're involved with helping just on a personal basis, but that's much smaller than what we do with the foundation. But it is that ability to interact and to do something, and just especially quietly just do something that makes a difference for someone else. So last night was one of my feeding nights, and it was, you just quietly go out and hand out, because I know where to find the people who are living on the street now. So, and it's just really, you feel really good. So it is, I think, for people's mental health, the ability to involve themselves in something that is of service to someone else, just, it really helps you feel that what you're doing, using your words, you matter. What you're doing it matters. Other people, you are working to help them. So
Awesome.
that That's definitely a very common thread in this group that we're talking with tonight, and it's really nice to be here in this conversation and part of this team.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And it is so important, that service, but also that ability to slow down and take care of ourselves physically is just critical.
Yeah.
Our friend Christine says, my favorite episode, so the Friends piece, is when Joey's fridge is broken and the one when Eddie moves in. I could tell. I watched.
I don't know, but there's Ross with the leather pants. I mean, come on. How has nobody
Ross
said
in the
that?
leather pants. That too is delightful. You've seen the Ross in the leather pants, hey, Brennan? You think so? You're on mute like an elder.
Yeah, I'm on mute. That's embarrassing, but yeah, that show is classic.
Yeah, Ross in the leather pants and the talcum powder. That one too, excellent. And Andrea, what about yourself? What have you done to be kind to yourself?
Definitely I'm with Sarah on the exercising more. So I've been trying to run and jog and swim and stretch and do yoga and that kind of thing. So just making time for that, going to bed earlier so I can wake up for the 6 to 9 business has kind of allowed me, and I think, to get a better quality sleep as well. So perhaps even after Monday, I need to keep on that schedule. But I think the biggest thing for me is actually, and this is more in the last year, is just asking for help. Like, instead of, it's very easy for me to sort of quiet my anxiety about the whole thing by trying to help everybody else. But finally asking for help is a big one, I think, that I've done for myself. So, and then other people enjoy helping. So I guess I'm doing them a favor by asking help.
You are.
It is literally, it is. And thank you for saying that, because that's, Brennan and I talk about that all the time, is that when the world has literally turned upside down, gotten shaken around like a cocktail and poured out and spilled everywhere. Like, that's the world in the last 12 months. And we have to ask for help. Like, it is the bravest, most loving thing that we can do for ourselves, is ask for a hand. And whether it's just someone to listen, whether it's something more significant, whether it's talking to a doctor or a counselor or whatever it is, and I'm using all my own lived experiences in the last year, saying, I can't finish this project, I need help. Like, I need you to come in and help me. Like, I literally have had people and friends come and sit in my office while I write so that I can stay focused. And like, asking for help is 10 points for Andrea.
Yeah.
And I see Andrea every day leave quite early, and away she goes running on the beach every day. And it is awesome. And I too really hope that on Monday I'm up at 6 again and going out and exercising. I really hope that I do. Stephen P says two things. He says pivot, and I think that was in reference to Friends, but I don't get that one. I don't think I remember it.
The one they're trying to get the couch up the stairs. Pivot, pivot,
yes. Pivot. Yes. Okay.
And Ross
Yes.
shouted, pivot, and they ended up cutting it up anyway.
But he also asks, for those of us that struggle asking for help, any tricks or tips? And I think, Brennan, do you have tips or tricks if you're struggling to ask for help?
Yeah, just like start asking for help with really simple things, even if you don't need it. Like, I don't even know, just you could start with like, hey, can you help me take the garbage out or something? I don't know, but like, just making a habit of asking for help, so that when you come to those moments where you really struggle with it, your mind reverts to, hey, ask for help. And even if you don't do it, at least you're thinking about it, and then eventually you'll hopefully do it, or not. But
Brennan just
there.
So you all just saw why I love Brennan, like, because that is exactly it. It's practice. It's the best thing is, and that's a really good example. Can you help me take the garbage out? Can you help me? Whatever it might be. I spoke at a youth conference in North Caribou Lake First Nation this week. somewhere recently in the last 7 to 10 days. And we practiced asking for help out loud. Like, because it does take practice to ask for help. And that's actually it. Like you were joking maybe at the beginning, or not sure if you were saying it right, but can you help me with the garbage? Can you help me with, I'm trying to get this done. Can you help me fix this? Can you help me? Can you help? Yeah, practice. I don't know about others, but that certainly is a great tip and a great trick is just practice asking for help. Can you edit this better for me? Can you do insert whatever it is? So Stephen P, keep practicing, keep testing it, practicing. Stephen's sending lots of hearts now, so I think that means he likes your tip. And Stephen or Brennan, Stephen P. Brennan, what have you been doing in this last while to be kind to yourself?
Yeah, I started a sleep schedule. As you know, sleep is a big thing for me, something that I really struggle with. And so I started a sleep schedule and just trying to really hard to force myself to stick to it. And just not putting pressure on myself to do anything else in the day, but just as long as the end of the day, you know, I stick to that sleep schedule and that routine, and it's made such a big difference for me. It's insane. Like I can't believe how big of a difference it's made. Yeah.
And do you put your phone down?
Yeah, that's helped me a lot.
Do you put your phone down when you go to bed?
Sometimes it really depends. If I know I have a lot of energy and I'm just like, if I'm feeling like wired, I'll bring my phone with me, just because I know myself and I know I'll just lay there and just go nuts. And so I'll usually just bring my phone with me and either watch YouTube or just put it on and put it to the side or something.
Well, awesome. Thank you. And I certainly have been doing physical activity. That's been a big part for me. And since I've been here in Barbados, the best act of kindness I've made certainly was in December or November when I booked a flight to come here and make a commitment to myself that I would take care of my physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being. And everything that's happened since I've been here has allowed me to do that. And that was both me being brave and kind to myself and allowing me to be of service to others in a good way. Ladies and gentlemen at home, thank you so much for coming and joining us as always. Well, I think Brendan and I would do it if he didn't come, but it's way more fun with all of you being here. And to the 4 of our guests here and our guests earlier tonight from How to Fix Radios, what a great show. Just awesome. I would imagine you agree there, Mr. Brennan.
What's that?
I imagine you agree. An awesome show.
100%. Hell yeah.
And Sue says, nice show. Take care of each other. We certainly will, Sue. What we're going to do is we're going to close the show with, where did it go? Where am I? We're going to close the show with the trailer for How to Fix a Radio. It's a little long, so you're welcome. Our guests, you're certainly welcome to stick around. It's not long, I shouldn't say that. It's a few minutes, but here's the trailer. And once it's done, we just hit end. So thank you, each of you, for coming tonight and spending Saturday night with us, for coming to walk with us. And,
Thanks for having.
Thank you.
And
Thank you too.
our young
Thanks for making this happen. Thank you, Peter.
Well, it's been awesome. And and there's Nate Zahn, our most frequent, between him and Drives, our most frequent musical guests. So we're gonna play the trailer for the Canadian, and this again is playing on March 5th at the Kingston Canadian Film Festival. We'll put the link as well in the comments later, along with the link with where you can donate to CANCARES. And yeah, it's gonna be awesome. We're gonna change the world one $10 donation at a time.
One drop in the bucket.
One drop in the bucket. Everyone have a great night, everyone. Be well.
You too.
You too.
Oh, I ruined it. I already ruined it. Here we go.
Nice.
Okay.
Can I help you?
I'm looking for rocks. The job Richard put up. Clean up the place before he sells it.
You know, there's cash floating around here. It's not really for you. Maybe I could pocket it and get a new one. Do you remember that lake we used to go to?
Sure, the one near Westport, right?
Yeah, take a look at this. Why don't we get it? A good 6 to 7. It's hard for everyone, and it's not good to be forced into a situation like mine either, but there is pride and there is power in not cowering to the thought of being exposed.
I don't want to feel angry.
It'll go with time. It's better or we're both screwed. I'm going.
Well done.
Have a good night, everyone. Be well, and we will see you next Saturday.
Thank you.
Good night.
Night all. Stay safe.